All right, thank you for staying with us. It's time now to look through the newspaper headlines, and I begin with the Nation newspaper. The major story here says, Rivers crisis, Wike hits Fubara, and some riders accuses governor of setting assembly on fire, says he introduced ethnicity into state politics. I am full-blooded Ijo son, governor declares. And at the downstream, Ondo Tinubu resolves Akeredolu Ayedatiwa crisis. Parties agree to uphold peace, maintain status quo. Appeal court affirms Abiodun and Sani Nwifuru others as governors. PDP loses control as appeals court sacks 11 Plateau lawmakers. And at the top corner, we have new round of banking sector recapitalization coming. Cardoso is saying this. Banks not equipped to serve $1 trillion GDP target, plans new forex regulation guidelines, declares war against inflation, economic reforms will be sustained. Who has what story?
Inside the papers.
Right.
So the former Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has advanced reasons why the rent-to-own scheme must further be improved upon by the government and stakeholders as part of efforts to reduce the number of homeless persons in the country. So he gave the recommendation while delivering his keynote address at the ongoing 50th anniversary celebration of the Federal Housing Authority on Thursday. This happened in Abuja. And according to him, he said financial capacity is a hindrance for most persons to purchase homes outright. As a result, the federal and state governments must expand their rent-to-own programs. And homelessness, according to him, is the most undignifying experience for a human being and must be confronted with necessary resolve by political leaders and policymakers. And the painful truth is that not everybody will be able to afford to buy a house. But he believes that the rental housing for all is possible. The government needs to work on that. Not only build to buy, but build so that people can rent, and also make policies so that the rents that people pay, it's made easy for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pay like maybe monthly or weekly and, the likes, so that a lot of people will be able to, have a place, a decent place to stay. I absolutely agree with him. Yes. I know there are some houses that the government have built. We're still struggling to see how to sell in some certain areas of, especially Lagos that I know of. And, we shouldn't rush to buy, as politicians, rush to buy those houses of government and then keep them to be selling for 100 million, 200 million. We need to build affordable housing for people who are just
I think we mentioned this matter last week as well. They're talking about the number of over 3,000 housing units that Lagos State said it had provided. And we're saying that...
where? How?
Wait, calm down. We're now saying that they should go beyond that to ensure there is this matter of affordable renting.
Yeah.
People can afford house rent because right now it's cutthroat. If you want to get a decent house, you have to pay through your nose as it is. And then those developers and owners of houses or landlords and landladies are not making it easy. They tell you pay for 2 years, you must pay agreements, damages, and all of those things.
Agency.
Oh, so it's not easy for a majority of persons who want to own houses. Who has another story here?
Yes, 20 suspected prostitutes have been arrested in Onitsha, Anambra State, by operatives of the Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra Brigade. And when, when the nation spoke to some of these suspects, one of them called Esther John, she's from Akwa-Ibom. She said she had to resort to prostitution because she has not been able to pay her final year fees, and the person that was supporting her died, so she had no other option. And then there is Helen Ibe from Abia State, who says she has poor parents and she dropped out of school. Her siblings are suffering, and she does not even know any skill acquisition in the state that the government has put in place. So if she gets a job that can pay her like 100,000 naira monthly, she would leave prostitution. There is another one from Benue. She's an orphan. She said if she gets a better job. But the funny part of the story is about the widow that was also arrested alongside these ladies. She said her brother actually owns the brothel that these ladies come to, and she only serves them food. But because she was hearing a lot of noise when they came to arrest them, she decided to just go out to see what was happening. That was how they packed her too. and, you know, bundled her into the vehicle. And she was even telling them, please let me go and put off the food. The gas cooker, that I have food cooking, that did not allow her do any of that. But then she's not been able to advise these ladies, because even if you advise them, they tell her that they are not kids and all of that. But then the Secretary General of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Zone F, Comrade Ire Yugwa, said that she's broken, and she hopes that the government can give these ladies skills, you know, help them acquire skills, exactly, and then get them out of this. What usually happens is they arrest them, they bribe their way out, and they are released, and they go back to work. So we need to find an operation that would probably take them and put them in a place to rehabilitate them. You don't just release them into the society like that, they will go back. You have to rehabilitate them.
We do not have a structure.
We don't have that structure that rehabilitates them, and so they keep going back. And then the customers, they have markets now. People that are going there for, are they not supposed to hold those people? If you don't patronize them, they won't have business. Women need to find, we all need to find something doing, tangible.
Before we come to you, let's quickly go on the break. When we return, we'll continue looking through the newspaper headlines. Thank you for staying with us. We're still looking through the newspaper headlines. And Toby, you wanted to take a story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Yeah?
In the paper,
we have there.
GT the guitar man says cabals decide how industry is being run. I'm not sure if anybody remembers GT the guitar man way back. And somehow we just didn't hear of him as much as we would have loved, because he was really talented. And he went on to say in this interview that the music industry has been hijacked by cabals who significantly influence how the industry is being run. And so he says that there are middlemen that stand as...
I'm telling you,
everywhere. That there are middlemen that stand as the force to be reckoned with between the artists and the people. So both of them cannot even function without those people. So they are necessary in the dealing of artists, especially for people that don't have so much funds in their hands. You would now be left to bow to their biddings, basically. And he says that this is just a major issue within the industry. And then he went on to say that they've monetized the music industry to the point that no one can be heard until you have a certain amount of money.
You're sinking money. He's not lying.
Yes, and then he went on to also give other reasons as to why the music industry is what it is today. And he said that, do you notice that a lot of young artists, known and unknown, are dying of depression? Why? Because they've tried to get into this space, but because of the funds, they're unable to do that. And then another thing he mentioned was drug abuse also. So these are issues that, although everybody knows that they exist, right, how are we addressing it, even to suit the artists and even the general public? Because these are things we see, our children see, and are influenced by.
Story of my life, I experienced it firsthand. I was singing before now. Why did you ask me away from exactly all these things he listed? The middlemen are there too. And if you're an independent, milk you seriously, and if you're an independent artist, you don't have a record label, you will sink in money before you even heard Tom Gwem. I had to re-advise myself. Sister, which other talent do you have?
Can we move to that direction?
Look at somebody that had to fake his own death.
Imagine. You can imagine. Anyway, they're still on the front page, on the pages of the Nation newspaper. This story is an inspiring one, talking about Chief Samuel Maduka Onyishi, the founder of Maduka University, as well as the owner of Peace Mass Transit. He was talking about his story, his grass to grace story, and I believe it can encourage everyone who is struggling out there to make a name for themselves. He said he is the first son. He lost his father at the age of 12, and he's the first son of 7 children, and they didn't have any as much. The only thing they could say they had was air. That they could say, oh, we have air at least. And it's free. And it's free. So even going to school was a challenge. Secondary school was a challenge, as it was. So he had to do all sorts of menial jobs, from bus conductor, selling second-hand clothing, doing everything to make ends meet. And you know how it is in this part of the world. If you are the first child, there's so much responsibility for you. So while he was in school, the money he saved from his spare part business that he was able to gather, he now decided to buy 2 buses. And so while he was in school, he would drive one, he'd give out the other one for people to drive. And before he finished school, his 4-year course, he had over 40 cars.
Yes. Wow.
Wow.
Over 40 cars.
You see the difference between the people who decided to use their body?
Yes.
That's the
same
same situation, but then you decide to handle it differently.
So the decision is yours.
Yes, at the end of the day.
He was willing to do every menial job he can to set up a business, and then from there he picked up, and before he finished his 4-year course.
And he's a guy.
He's a guy.
It's even easier for women.
Anyway, bottom line is that he was able to struggle from grass to grace. He was able to do something, and now he's where he is as
we
a
bless
chief.
God for him.
Thank God for him. And it's a lesson for every one of us that we do not give up, that your story may begin in a certain way, but you can rewrite your story. That's what
You have the powers.
Yes, you have the power to rewrite your story. So let's go to the Punch newspaper quickly. And the major story here, police vow crackdown as Kanu APC NNPP supporters set for protest. That's the front page of the Punch newspaper. Troublemakers, unauthorized gathering organizers will be arrested, prosecuted. That's the Commissioner of Police speaking. Military, NSCDC, other security outfits on red alert, personnel deployed in hotspots. Other stories here. Creating content regularly puts me under pressure, Bimbo Ademoye is saying, and she makes it look like it is easy peasy. Another story here, bullying, dark underbelly of Nigeria's million-dollar entertainment industry, similar to the story that Toby spoke about earlier. How Iyalode Alaba Lawson planned her burial from sick bed, Ebenezer Obey is speaking. Assembly asks Adeleke to send Chief Justice probe report to NJC. Ceasefire, Hamas faced 24 hostages, Israel releases 39. And on the top corner, we have Emefiele pumped 10 trillion naira into economy through quasi-fiscal activities. Kadoso is speaking. Appeals court affirms Abiodun for governor's election, sacks Bauchi speaker, who has our story.
So inside the story, the Enugu State government has banned people from living or sleeping overnight in any market in the state. We remember there was recently where they uncovered bodies, dead bodies buried in one of the markets. So he also declared his resolve to forestall the infiltration of the new artisan cattle market by miscreants, flushed out from the Lokbanata cattle market in Umunochi, local government area of Abia State, by the government. So the chairman of Enugu Capital Territory Development Authority, Chief Uche Anya, was the one who announced this in a meeting with the leadership of the new artisan cattle market in Enugu. And he said that the state government is not against people who are doing genuine business in the market, but they don't just want people to keep sleeping in the market. They are going to offer security, protect the marketplace, so that once the market closes, anybody who does not have any business cannot get into the market. And they are going to allow them have meetings to decide when they want the markets to open and close, and then come back to the state government and let them know. So
I hope the people understand that it's in their best interest.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right, who has another story here?
15,000 pregnant women to benefit from Ogun-free healthcare. And so the Ogun State government on Friday has said that 15,000 women will benefit from its free delivery and maternal healthcare program tagged Ibidero. So Ibidero loosely translates as childbirth made easy. And so there was a pilot phase last year that had 3,000 pregnant women benefit from this. But this year, the governor, Ibidapo, the governor of Ogun State, ensured that that project is being scaled to accommodate 15,000 pregnant women. And it is in a bid to reduce the mortality rates in the state. And so they also went on to say that aside from helping them with their payment of their fees for their delivery, they would also give them a stipend also, especially for indigent women and people that cannot really afford all those things. But then again, my question really would be that when we keep giving stipends, why don't you do a training for them that would not just teach them that will not just give them fish, but how to teach them how to fish. Because after they give birth, after a while, their child grows up and they're still in that state of poverty. So what is the government also doing? Yes. But I think that it is a laudable project, knowing fully well that more women would have died if the government didn't step in. Because it is like a national health insurance scheme.
We can only hope they take it a step further.
Yes, a step further. But I think I applaud them for this.
Yeah.
Because our time is running
Okay,
out.
so educationists, they are suggesting 5 ways to help kids improve in subjects that they struggle with. So using this man's example, he said, that's Mr. Ajao, he said he had a child who was good in mathematics but not good in other subjects like English and literature. And after paying attention to him, they were able to realize that he just does not like a lot of words. Oh. So they had to pace him, and then from there, they were able to increase his interest in those other subjects. So to summarize it, they are giving the 5 ways, to help your child, become better. Be attentive to them. Do they like a particular subject? Do they like a particular teacher? Are they complaining about something? Listen to their feelings and give space for feedback. Don't just shut them down thinking they don't want to go to school. They might actually have something that they want to tell you at that moment. And of course, give additional homework. Don't just don't think because your child is good at this subject or they are very good academically, just leave it to them. You have to ensure that they do their homework properly. And then if they're struggling with a particular subject, give them extra practical homework.
Wow,
so
when
that
do they now
become,
play?
so that they can become better. And then also ask the class teacher for support.
The remaining details.
Wait, the last one. Let me just keep the last one.
Hop.
The last one. Seek developmental
Thank you
therapists.
very much.
We find
That's the much we can take. Unfortunately, there was a story on harassment and bullying in the music industry, but we do not have time to take more on the papers this morning. We'll have to go on a break. When we return, we'll be looking at our hot topic.